morning, everybody. How's everybody doing today on this dreary, dreary Friday? I wanted to touch base again on Breath of the Wild. It's been several weeks since I bought the game and playing along. I'm pretty close to the end. I have 3 of the Divine Beasts. I've explored all the territories. I'm kind of going through my last of the territories right now. I have found the Master Sword. I'm going to be as spoiler-free as possible, but there is a Master Sword in there. Spoiler warning. But if you want to be going completely fresh, again, stop listening, watching, whatever. What's this guy doing? It's just sitting there. What an oddball. I wasn't so sure about it at first, and to be fair, I'm still not completely convinced. It wasn't what I was hoping for, and that is a huge detractor for me. But suffice to say, it is awesome, and everybody loves playing it, and we really enjoy it. And I think it's a game that just about everybody could enjoy very, very much. A couple of things I really, really like. Fast travel. So I played Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim. I did not like fast travel in Oblivion and Skyrim. I don't like fast travel in any game that has fast travel. Any place you've been to once, you can instantly go to again. I don't like. I just don't understand why that is a thing. It totally detracts from the gameplay experience. It makes it so that it's not about actually going to these places. It's about jumping there and doing some kind of chore. Skyrim and Oblivion, you gotta go. It's either a fetch quest of some kind, or you get the quest here and you gotta go do it here. And it doesn't matter if it's on the other side of the world. You have to go do it. You can just go do it instantly. Morrowind, I preferred Morrowind so much because they had methods of fast travel you could use, but in order to properly use them, you had to be strategic about it. There's public transportation. You could pay to take a ferry to go someplace, or one of the stilt striders, and they would go to these city locations, and each stilt strider would only take you to certain locations near you. I really like that. It worked well into the realm. And then, of course, you had to learn how to use these spells of levitation, so you could go flying places to get to places quickly. And that was cool because it took work to develop up those spells and skills. Then he played Ultima 4. Ultima 4 was great because at first it was a matter of just desperately trying to be able to go out and explore and then come back and not be dead by the time you got back. Be able to have the strength and the resources to be able to make it back to the village. But then as you got stronger and stronger and you learned more spells and you found more reagents, you could cast spells that would provide you with maps, would show you exactly where you were on the map, would teleport you to various cities, and that was cool. It felt realistic. It felt like you've accomplished something. So I'm a little weary of fast travel in any game, but this game does it really, really well. This game, it's like the other Zelda games, where it's not that there's a fast travel, it's that there's a warp spell. It kind of feels that way. It is really fast travel. But the thing is, the game very rarely says to you, all right, you're at the upper west corner. You need to go to the lower east corner, grab something, and then come back. That never happens. The entire game is about exploration. When you go someplace, it is generally going to have that place, that area, is going to have you doing things in that area. And you're going to need to go and explore in depth in that area. Very, very rarely are you tasked with going from one place to the other. Other Zelda games, like Twilight Princess, for example, very often would say you have to go to this place and come back and do something else. And that, it felt totally fine. That didn't bug me at all. Excuse me. Now, I like very much the way that operates. Now, there's also a method of quick travel, kind of like, with horses and whatnot. You had horses. But then also transporting yourself up to one of the towers and jumping off and gliding down somewhere. That's very satisfying. That doesn't bother me at all. I like that very much. So it's a subtle difference, but it's a difference that to me makes a big difference. The other thing is your items. Obviously your items are going to deteriorate. Your weapons are going to break. Your shields and swords are going to break. You're going to run out of arrows. And you're going to be constantly using food that you've prepared to replenish your health or to give you some kind of a stat boost. Oh, and I like very much that you can only have one stat boost going at a time. So, pick what you want. It's almost always best, at least in the beginning of the game. So far, I only have like 12 hearts or something. It's almost always better to be able to throw a stat boost element in there because you're going to boost up 10, 12 hearts with just 2 or 3 items. So you might as well throw in a speed shroom. What are those called? Rapid shroom, something like that. Just so that, so after I take this, I'm going to run faster. And the thing I like about it is you're getting all these items, but they're not... One of the things I dislike about older Zelda games is that it seems like rupees are kind of a non-issue. You get so bloody many of them just wandering around, and they're falling off of enemies, and you get them in every chest. You open up the chest hoping it's a key and it's rupees. And then your wallet is full, so you don't even get to keep them. And in some of the games, you don't keep the chest in the rupees in the chest. You just take them and they disappear into oblivion. No pun intended. In this game, I'm not having any trouble with rupees. I'm never having to go out and search for rupees. But in this game, the rupees do tend to mean something. I'm constantly having to buy more arrows. And then there's a certain spot where you can spend your rupees on some very expensive things that I'm getting a lot of. So getting those rupees is helpful. The one thing I did notice is that I am finding gems all over the place. And at first, I was able to pad my wallet quite a bit by selling all the gems, but then I got looking at the gems, and I'm just not sure that that's... The game seems to be leading into me, you're going to need these for something else. So I stopped selling my gems, and now I'm not hurting for rupees, but I don't have as many as I wanted. I like very much also that in this game they got rid of the trope of rupees just kind of hiding everywhere. It's very rare that you see rupees just in the grass. It happens, but it's rare. Or sitting along the side of the river. Enemies rarely ever drop rupees. There's one type of enemy that'll always drop rupees and bananas, but that enemy's not really over the place. There aren't very many of that enemy. And then that was just about the only place I could find bananas until I got into that final area of the map that I'm exploring now. And this area is just sucking me in. I don't know what it is, but I just feel like I'm trapped in this area. I know I could very easily fast travel out. The one thing I don't like, though, is the shrines replacing the dungeons. I mean, the thing about the dungeons that's awesome is that when you go into one of those dungeons, you know you're going to come out stronger with a new item and having completed a major portion of the game. These shrines, it's one little puzzle. They're typically ridiculously easy. It doesn't tie into everything else. Like, I love the way that some of the puzzles all interconnect with each other. The water temple from Ocarina of Time is a good example of that. The only problem with the water temple is it's so difficult to travel through the water temple to figure out up, down, medium, where does that water need to be? Excuse me. In this game, you're not getting any of that. So my original idea for Breath of the Wild, in case you didn't see my first episode, was it just needs to be a retelling of the first game. You wake up, you don't know where you are, and you practically don't know who you are, and you got to go find these 8 things. And that's kind of what it is, but you got to find these 4 things, and they're not exactly hidden. They're pretty easy to find. Ultimately, I love it. I'm thinking it would be great if Nintendo were to, for their next game, take this engine and build a game very similar to it, but that's just a retelling of the very first game. I think that would be great. But in any event, that's my recap of Breath of the Wild. I'm loving it. I'm pretty close to the end. Oh, I did go in and explore the final dungeon. I like that you can get in there at just about any time. And I did pretty well for a short period of time, but then I come across the first gatehouse and just... So I like that very much. I'd already gotten 2 of the Divine Beasts at that point, and I thought, I'm doing great, I'll be fine. Nope, not at all, not even close. So, in any event, play Breath of the Wild if you're a Zelda fan at all. I'm playing it on Wii U, it plays great. And have a nice day.